Oh, welcome to my channel. Welcome to my humble abode. My name is Zami, and I hope you guys have been enjoying the videos I've been making lately. I try to help the beginners in Kurtzpel and any other game I might try to play, because I think that the good foundation for a game, as I've said before in other videos, is a good introduction to beginners. I know a lot of people are veterans are like, no, let them learn. When it was me, I learned it by myself, and I did just okay. I'm like, okay, that's fair to say, but sometimes it's better to help the beginners, and I like helping the beginners. So here we go. Today we're going to be talking about one of the most important things to learn and to realize that exists, and how to try to work around it and with it, which is called endurance. Endurance is a stat that exists in the game that basically has to be depleted in order to interrupt your enemy, or to stagger him, or even to stun him sometimes. Basically, it is a stat that it is your main tanking stat, I would say. The other tanking stat would be magic resist or physical resist. Currently, I'm gonna try to talk slightly about this, but I'm not gonna go into much detail because there's a lot of information that we do not know, because the devs do not disclose everything that we require to know in order to have concrete values of everything about endurance. We do not know how much endurance a certain skill has. We do not know how much break value that skill has and how much endurance it can deplete from the enemy's endurance pool. We do not know how long it takes to refresh. This is all the kind of thing that I would love to see implemented in the game, but currently we do not have. So normally we go by timing and we go by intuition. From the small introduction, you can already tell what endurance is. Now I'm going to talk about the other word that I was using, which is break value, or damage break, which is a stat that exists in every skill paired with the actual damage of the skill. Normally the skills have a certain break value and they have the damage itself. This break value can change according to, well, the tweaks that the devs do in future patches, so this cannot be seen always as to be the case. The best way for you newbies to check what the actual break value is, or how much more break value a certain skill has compared to another one, is to actually go into PvE, because PvE you actually have an endurance bar and you can see clearly how much more a certain skill does of break value than any other skill. In simple terms, basically the break value is when a skill has a higher break value than another skill. Basically it means that sometimes it might be able to break an opponent, and therefore you'll be able to do more damage on that opponent with said skill or any other skill that you have. Alright, so going back to endurance. Endurance is characterized about having around 3 stages. There's a higher stage that only the sword players can reach, which stacks so much endurance that it ignores certain skills that normally interrupts everyone else. But I don't believe there is a way for you to realize if they're on that stage unless you see them pop a certain skill, which is called Fortitude. Basically what that does is it gives them so much endurance that they ignore certain, well, all the second ultimates, because all the second ultimates of the game are supposed to interrupt us. I have a tiny stun at the start, or a certain stagger that it creates, but whenever a sword player casts a skill that already has a base endurance plus the endurance fortitude buff, what happens is that they stack upon each other. It completely negates any kind of interruption that any of the second ults in the game might create. Ignoring that part, because it is very hard to tell what it is whenever you are on that stage. There's 3 types of stages you have to take care. You have the sort of reddish stage, where normally you see it whenever you do a double LMB. There is the yellow stage, which is like the level of fortitude endurance, where normally it can still be interrupted by most skills. And that is the 3rd stage, which is the purple glowy stage that you guys have seen. Some people argue that you can kind of see when it's a bit higher than purple, that the color gets a bit darker, I believe. but in the fast-paced game like this, a lot of the times it's very hard to tell, and it also depends on what kind of graphic settings you are. But these three, normally you can see it in all range of graphics in the game, so I would say this is what you should look at. So as an example to the stages that I just showed you guys, and to see that it is actually stages of endurance that we have, I'm going to show you guys in the clip that's just going just now, somewhere now, that even though that you might be able to win a trade, or it seems like you win a trade against an enemy, if your enemy has a higher break damage than you, and it has a higher endurance than you, you will be able to do damage on him regardless. But you'll see that the endurance will drop, in this case, from purple to yellow, and it will be able in turn to stun you because the break value is so much higher than the endurance that you have with that certain skill. So right now I'm going to talk about things that I know that are certain, most likely that the devs will not change. Currently, it doesn't matter what weapon you're using. It can be a sword, it can be a fist, it can be any of the other slayers that we have. You always have 2 ultimates, or unique karma crystals if you guys want to call it like that. One thing you can be sure of, at least from the way the game is going, is that the first ultimate you always get, in this case being Fallen Star, in the case of the sword being Raging Strike, you will always break your enemy. It doesn't matter how much endurance your enemy has, this will, if you hit this, this will break your enemy. And that is a very important thing for newbies to understand, because depending on who you're playing against, your enemy might be really good at refreshing and at stacking his endurance. So at any time that you might try to engage, you'll feel frustrated because you will not understand why his skill hit you but yours did not. So this is a good tip I can give you guys. This is one for sure that I know, like I am 90% sure that I can change this, because it is such a core part of the game. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time they change a core part of the game, but I'm pretty sure this won't change. This can break anything in the game, right? The first ultimate of every single weapon, we can check the DS, First Ult, Tornado, Massacre. It kills, it interrupts anything. The first ult on bow, the bird interrupts everything. The staff, the meteor interrupts everything as well. Every single one has a point of the ult where it interrupts anything that touches. Normally that point is at the very start or the first hit of the ultimate. So keep that in mind. Anyway guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I didn't want to make this video too long. I also didn't want to go into detail about the endurance of the difference of endurance between the skills and the difference of break value between the skills, because obviously for me it's better if the video does not lose the interest because of the patch that came out next week. So I try to keep it basic, so that most of the things that we know that seem to be already cemented into the game are the things that I can actually transmit to beginner players, so I don't have to remake this kind of video every other week or so. So see you guys on the next one. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I hope you found it useful. If you did, do leave on the comments down below that your appreciation for the video. I love it. I love to see it, obviously. And if you have other videos that you would like me to talk about, go ahead and ask. This one actually was a request from a viewer, and I decided to make it eventually, and I did. So here it goes. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys on Tuesday, as usual. Tuesday to Saturday, that's normally when I stream. I normally stream Kurtzpel most of the time. I might switch between other games if I find other interesting games to play, but Kurtzpel is basically the one that I like the most. See you guys on Tuesday. Have a nice one, guys. Goodbye.